Yeah, so yeah, it's a contrarian indicator for the discerning investor, and that's when, you're able to really identify what you should be listening to in the media. Sometimes they do make good points, but you kind of have to decipher it, right? Like what actually means something and what doesn't. And what should I be doing that's opposite of what they're telling me to do?
There's a good book out there for people to read if you're new to investing and you want to learn some terminology and kind of understand things. It's called The Warren Buffett Way.
Yes. Yeah, that's the first book you recommended to me on
I
stock.
always recommend it. It's a great book by Robert Hagstrom. Great book. Read it. It will teach you about how to value stocks in a very basic way. And you build
Yes.
off of that. You build off of that.
So it's about time for me to go back to that book because I've read it multiple times.
Yeah.
And during times where I started to get a little discouraged, things didn't work out with the stock the way that I wanted them to or whatever, I just go back to that book and get my mind right again. And I've read the book and listened to it multiple times. It's got the audio book and the print version.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love that. I tell you what, when I get a loss, when I take a loss and I have a bad, I just take a break from everything. I
Yeah.
turn off all my apps. I turn off everything. I don't watch any news channels as far as stock news channels, nothing. And I just take like a few days and I don't know, go on runs, do whatever I need to do, go play some video games, something. And I just forget all about the stock market. And then I come back with a fresh mind, fresh, ready to redo things. It's like a reset.
Right.
I need a reset because I made the mistake for a number of reasons, but for me now, I probably got too cocky and confident. Is how I look at it for myself.
Right.
I probably
When
missed
reach
something. I missed something because I had too much hubris. And if you don't know hubris, I missed something because I believed too highly in my own intellectual ability that I was like, nah, this is good. This is good. And I missed something.
Yeah. When you're trading stocks, it's easy to try to force something or to try to chase, a gain or whatever
Yes.
and not think rationally about it. Like, if you're like, oh my gosh, if you're like halfway to like thinking about like you're half and half, like, should I buy into this right now? Did I miss the gains? Whatever, you probably shouldn't do anything with it if you're in that mindset.
Right.
At all if you're trading. Now, if you're investing, you just buy and then you don't care about the down days or the off days or even down weeks and sometimes even down months you don't care that much about. If the stock of the company is actually doing really well, but the stock's not doing so well, you just have to wait for the reversal or cost average down.
Yeah.
But it's
Some people don't like that though.
yeah. So I do watch my stocks every day, but I like it just because it interests me.
Yeah.
And it's not that I really care about the daily gains up or down anymore. I just think it's interesting to
All
see
right.
what's happening. But go
Look,
ahead.
can I do a hard transition over to what I want
Yeah,
to talk about?
absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Let's do a hard transition. Finally. Finally, it's all about me now, Brandon. Finally. All right, so I'm going to mention a couple of things here. We're going to go into Novo Nordisk, Eli Lilly. We're going to cover a few things for these companies, and it's because Eli Lilly had some news that broke last week. It was good news, for good and bad news across the board for Eli Lilly. And the good news had to do with their pill form of the weight loss drug. So everybody knows they have Mounjaro and Zepbound, and it's the injectable drug that you can take in order to help with weight loss or a number of other issues as well. It's not just weight loss, diabetes, or it helps with, oh man, sleep apnea. It can be used for that if you have I forget, is it constructive, deconstructive sleep apnea? I don't know. Congestive sleep apnea. Yeah, I was gonna get it. I was gonna get it eventually.
I
Yes.
yeah.
So it can be prescribed for those reasons. So, anyways, their pill form came out and it had some okay results. So what it showed was that people the next experimental GLP-1 pill, I know I'm mispronouncing that, help people lose about 12% of their body weight, with weight loss plateauing for most patients in the 72-week trial. So in 72 weeks, they tried this. That's a long time, by the way. That's a year and a half almost. And they lost about 12% of their body weight using the pill. Now, the reason why this was a big study for Eli Lilly and they needed big numbers here, which they did not get, was the pill's so much cheaper for the company. And if it's cheaper for the company, it's cheaper for the end consumer. If it's cheaper for the end consumer, more people can just afford it. And they don't need to go to a Hims or a Hers for lower discount compounded drugs. or, you
Mhm.
know, wow, what I'm drawing a blank, designer drugs, if you will. And so this is going to be more profitable for Eli Lilly if they could get the pill to market, and that's the real goal here. More people would like a once daily pill versus a once a week shot. However, with just 12% body weight loss in 72 weeks, that's not enough for most people, considering most people are getting much higher results than that with the shot that they currently have going on. However, then the name of this pill is orforglipron or for lip. I'm messing up names right and left here. It showed clinical meaningful improvements across key cardiovascular risk factors, including cholesterol levels and blood pressure. It said the highest dose of the drug reduced the key marker of inflammation by 47%. That was great news for them. The most commonly reported side effects were mild to moderate, which is typically what you're getting right now with the shot. So nausea, of course, is the most one because that's what you get right now with the shot. But the thing to look at was the liver, right? Because that's what some people are saying is really bad if you take the shots, was the liver. So the liver safety was thoroughly evaluated and concluded that there was no concerning pattern of liver issues among patients taking the drug. And this has to do to the pill form. So overall, not bad. However, the weight loss was not what everybody was looking for in this trial. That's why you saw Eli Lilly drop 5% to 10% and stay down within that range the day that these news came out. At first, I was concerned because they were showing some weight loss, but then I posted on StockTwits, like in the Metsera StockTwits forum, I was like, hey, Eli Lilly's numbers came out. They're not looking too bad. Everything, there's might be some concern here with Metsera. There might be a drop today, yada, yada, yada. And then after looking into the numbers a little more, I wasn't that concerned. I was like, okay, this actually might be good for Metsera. And I commented on my own post in the StockTwits under Metsera. And then a few hours later, everybody else in the Metsera started copying me and talking about Eli Lilly and the drug results. And I was like, okay, whatever, guys, that's fine. I just know I was first. But nonetheless, Metsera actually went up because that's still a good one to own as far as if you're looking for a weight loss drug company, pharmaceutical play in the weight loss industry, Metsera is still a good one to own. Here's why, right? Keep in mind, Metsera showed a 8 to 9% loss in body weight just off of 6 to 9 weeks of their study. And it was a I want to say once a month injectable is what Metsera has because the half-life is longer. And so that's much more appealing to everybody involved. You just got to do a one shot, one time a month. Boom, you're done. You're good to go. Everybody loves that half-life. Everybody loves the results you're getting with Metsera. It's much better drug. However, it's still only in phase 2. It's got one more phase to go before it can get full FDA approval because there's already drugs on the market. The reason why I keep pushing Metsera is just because Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk were first to market doesn't mean it's always going to be the best drug in the long term. Other companies will see the success of that and then they'll find a better way to do it. And I believe that's what Metsera does. That's why I own Metsera, right? So I was talking over this news with people this past week, and some individuals were asking me, wasn't there another drug that you thought Eli Lilly was doing well on? And I said, yes, there is another one in their pipeline that I think actually is going to produce billions and billions of dollars for them in revenue if they could get it to market, if they could get the FDA approval and get it to market. And that one is their cholesterol drug. I've already talked about this before. If you go back, you find our previous episode. I wish I knew what episode number it was, but it is lepodisirin and I know I'm mispronouncing that. I'm doing my best here. I apologize. But this one is the Eli Lilly cholesterol drug. If you Google that, you can find it as well. They are in currently, they finished phase 2. They're currently in phase 3 testing of this. That one, when you did the full range of dose, so it was an 18-month long study, it reduced the bad cholesterol in the body by over 96%. And that's what I was covering on this a few months back. So I was saying that is a great drug in the Eli Lilly pipeline because you think of all the statins that are currently on the market right now, cholesterol statins, right? These are cholesterol drugs that people commonly use to help with their cholesterol problems. If you look at the revenue being brought in by them by AstraZeneca or Merck, I'm trying to I'm trying to combine Bristol Myers and Merck in my head, and I said Maersk. That's also a shipping giant too. But all these other pharmaceutical companies that had these statins on market, they're making billions in total revenue. Well, this drug by Eli Lilly could replace all of them. And so you look at that potential there, potential for billions in revenue coming in for Eli Lilly. That's a great one to believe in their pipeline. So that's great that Eli Lilly has that in their pipeline ready to go. But yes, that is the one. So people were asking me about that, like, in regards when I was talking about how they didn't have the best results on this weight loss drug. First initial thoughts, Brandon, on the Eli Lilly news from this past week.
Well, Lilly has always been a very well run company.
Yeah,
So
and
now you're
unlike
just
Novo
adding.
Nordisk, they have more than just the weight loss drug.
So did you mentioned that I think with the trials that they weren't expecting necessarily weight loss?
For their weight loss pill, that's the one I started this conversation about. They
Yeah,
wanted higher weight loss than just 12% in a year and a half.
gotcha.
That was a low number for them. They were looking for
Okay.
more. Well, the market,
12%.
investors were looking for more. How about
I
that?
mean, 12%'s really high for
Not for a month, a year and a half,
wow.
a year and a half of time. That's not high.
I'm still concerned over the health implications over using it for weight
They've
loss.
been Brandon, these drugs have been out for over 10 years
And
now.
they
You
have been,
can't keep bringing
but
this up. Every time I bring up these weight loss drugs, you bring that up. We've been talking about this for almost 2 years.
no, I know, but and they have been around for a very long time for insulin and diabetes and such.
Yes, yes.
And then they discovered that, oh wow, these are weight loss pills also, and it's not going to be, a pill that kills you like the previous weight loss pills did.
Yeah.
So it's still it's still to me like, oh, okay, we didn't know that this was a weight loss. We went ahead and got it FDA approved because we figured out it was a weight loss drug. Even when it was FDA approved at the very beginning, they didn't know why it was making people lose weight at the very
It
beginning.
did. It did.
Now they
It was
do.
getting rid yeah, it was getting rid of the appetite.
Yeah, and now they know why.
Yeah.
Because it's slower, it slows the amount of time that it takes your body to move your food to the smaller intestine. And so you stay fuller for longer. So if they figured that portion of it out at
It's
least.
it's it's more than just that because you don't get so of people who are obese when they take the drug, right? And
Yeah,
they first start taking it, if let's say they can eat a whole large pizza by themselves, right?
right.
You start taking this drug after three, four slices, you're full. Now, normally that wouldn't even fill up your stomach because you're obese and you can eat a whole large pizza. But you ate three, four slices and you're full.
I didn't know this podcast was going to be a time to take shots at me, Dave.
I'm just saying, like, I mean, it's crazy what it's doing. But my whole point is,
It is, and so
yeah,
far it's worked out, and so
it's
far
so far it's
it's
worked
been
out.
well.
That
Right.
here's the thing: it hasn't worked out for Novo Nordisk. The stock has taken a huge hit, and I've covered it on the way up when Novo Nordisk was moving up, and then I've covered it on the way down. I had a podcast all about why I was selling it at its peak near. I got it near I sold it near its peak. I'm very lucky on that. But I had a whole podcast on why I was selling at that time, and then now here we are, and Novo Nordisk is like cutting the staff
I don't know if
because
that was luck though, because that's also another thing that comes with experience is just trusting your gut. And sometimes you can't quite figure out why you think you
yeah,
should sell a trade that you have, but you know you should.
yeah, and I did, and I saw, and that was
Yeah.
public because every week I was covering where my position was at, and it was public. But Novo Nordisk is having trouble. Unlike Eli Lilly, they don't have other drugs that they sell in their pipeline that are big, well known, and this is their only one, and so their stock has fallen over 50% since its highs, and they're continuing to have trouble. They're cutting staff. They're still making billions a year off of their Wegovy and Ozempic. They're still raking in the billions a year off of this because they have deals with CVS and other companies out there. So they're making a lot of money. It's not that they're not making money. It's that they're trying to find ways to streamline the business and take that revenue stream and create other revenue streams.
Right.
And that's where they're having trouble. And They need to bring in my opinion, here's my opinion. They need to bring in new leadership that know how to do this.
Right.
Bring in some executives from some of these other companies, Bristol Myers, AstraZeneca, some of these other Johnson and Johnson, Procter and Gamble that have done this before. Bring them in and have them lead the charge there.
Johnson and Johnson, I might leave that one out, or Pfizer, because it's people looking for work for all the wrong reasons. But
Well, anyways, yeah, they Novo Nordisk is still having issues. I still don't, I'm not a fan of the company at the current price. I'm not going to buy it right now where it's at. Eli Lilly, though, they have a bright future. They took a hit initially last week because of this. It was a good time to maybe buy in a little bit if you were looking for a pharmaceutical company because Eli Lilly has a great pipeline, and that's where I
sure,
wanted to leave it.
sure.
So. My last little bit of quick news here. This is very quick, should take us 2 minutes to cover, Brandon. It is oil. So oil prices dropped on. I'm just going to read the whole. It's a Reuters newswire that came out just today. Oil prices dropped on Friday as worries about large supplies and decline in demand outweighed expectations that the year's first interest rate cut by the U.S. Federal Reserve would trigger more consumption. So Brent crude futures settled down at $66 a barrel about, and WTI futures finished at $62 a barrel. Both of them were down over 1% on Friday. So concerns that the interest rate cut is going to spur the economy cause oil prices to slide, according to this Reuters newswire, which
What?
I think it was more that and the fact that Iraq also raised their output and the fact that Nigeria wasn't meeting OPEC's output goals. And Nigeria contracted out with a contractor from outside of Nigeria to come in and actually run the program there because they are not getting the oil outputs that they would like. So I think that was bullish news for
Sure.
more oil output. So more supply means lower price,
Right.
lower
And that would
cost.
be
So Iraq pumping out more, Nigeria bringing in extra people so that they can actually pump out what they're supposed to pump out, and then the fact that, we are going to have possibly a stronger Q4, which I don't know. I don't see the inventories coming in. I didn't see the inventories numbers coming in to produce a strong Q4. But again, I said that last year and I got it wrong.
yeah, I don't either. I don't have and I'm not going to say it's going to go the other way either because there's no clear, concise data that points in either direction.
There's
And a quarter
not.
point Fed rate cut's not going to have an overall impact over an entire quarter for the entire stock market either. So
Yeah.
I don't know. The only thing I could think of, and the only way that a quarter rate cut would make sense that we have a better market is that people become a little bit more positive in their outlook. Maybe now that we have more accommodative Fed. I don't want to say that we have an accommodative Fed because it's not quite right. It's just
You
more
wouldn't call it
accommodative.
dovish? You wouldn't call it dovish?
I wouldn't call it dovish. No,
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
more dovish maybe than what it is.
Dovish, if you're a new listener and you're a new stock trader or investor, dovish means one person that's going to do whatever you want. They're going to give you what you want, basically. That's
Right,
a basic layman's definition. And hawkish means they're not going to give you anything you want. They're
right,
going to be very opposite. So
right.
those are the two terms used usually in regards to the Fed. All right, here we go. Earnings this week. I only have 3 on here to call out. But there are 3, I think, good ones. Tuesday, you got Micron Technology. It's a chip maker. I want to see what they say news on chip and chip productions, especially in regards to China. I want to see what they're saying on deals with China and chip productions and where their chips are going to be made. That's coming out Tuesday. On Wednesday, you have Cintas reporting. Cintas, if you don't know what that company is, they work a lot with other companies. So industrial, commercial businesses, and how much are they spending? Are they losing contracts? Meaning our business is cutting back on spending on things? Or are they growing contracts, meaning businesses are willing to spend on these things? And thus, it's a stronger environment business from a commercial industrial side. That's one thing I'll be looking at their numbers wise. Thursday, here's a big one. It is after the bell on Thursday. It is Costco. Costco reporting on Thursday. Love to see what they say about the upcoming holiday outlook.
Yeah.
So we have Halloween and the other holidays coming up, Thanksgiving, so on and so forth. All the big ones. We want to see what Costco is going to say in regards to Q4 guidance. And that's what I'm going to be looking for from Costco on Thursday after the bell.
I think it's interesting though that you said, did you say Reuters was saying that a good core Q4 should be happening? Was it from Reuters?
That was the Reuters Newswire. So it's just
Okay.
that one person who wrote that article.
Okay, gotcha. All right, that makes more.
Yes.
Because if you remember at the beginning of this year, and then even more during the April tariff situation, um, this is about the time when everybody and their mom and the media and every reporter was saying we would have a recession by, or that we would
Right.
be deep in a recession. Late 2025 is what they were
Yeah.
saying. So now you're just reading me a news report from Reuters saying that Q4 may be off the charts or at least really
I
good.
don't know about off the charts, but yeah.
Really good, right?
That's what that reporter said.
Yeah.
That's
So
what that
that's
reporter said.
that's how useful these analyst predictions are.
Yeah, and keep in mind, Reuters, when they have news wires, they kind of just report. If you're you know, I don't know how they certify their journalists or reporters or what have you, but if you're on their list and you put out a news article, then they just go ahead and put it out there for anyone to
Sure.
read. They don't do too much reviewing of these articles. It's more of a reporting service, and so I like it, but you do get sometimes articles that you're like, this is just complete slanted. Yeah, I'm not even going to listen to it.
It's insightful for sure. It's absolutely insightful, and that's how I prefer to get my stock market news too, is through the print Reuters and such. And Wall Street Journal's just driving me insane lately because it's just all political. It's just ridiculous how
It is.
political it is. Everything on their front page is about politics and
Yes.
not about, actual stock market news, which is wild. Every once in a while, something will sneak by them and they'll accidentally put some stock market news on their front page. But it's it's crazy how that works. But I just don't I don't know. I think it's still like the point stands that it's like, just 6 months ago we were all saying, well, 5 months ago we were all saying it maybe even me at that point because I was so anti-tariff and still am, recession in the back half of 2025
I
and
wasn't.
here we are. Here we
I
are.
wasn't saying that. I was standing alone by myself saying it's not going to happen. Not going to have a recession.
But even for me, when I was thinking that it was going to be a recession, I was still shopping for stocks. And, that's kind of the difference between me and them, I would think, is
Well,
that,
let's
like,
go
I'm
into that.
still
Let's do our
buying
final
when,
thoughts, Brandon. Final thought. Go ahead.
yeah, buy when something is, is a value. That's it. Who
You
cares
said
what
you
you
had
think
something
you
for
think it
final
could be?
thoughts. Let's hear
I
it.
do. I do. So my final thought right now is that I want people to buy Google stock after this antitrust result. And their antitrust issues are nowhere near over, but this is at least a step in the right direction. And I started researching or not Waymo, but Google again. And I love it. I absolutely love it when something pops out and surprises me as a reason to continue to hold the stock that I didn't have before. And that's Waymo. And Waymo is now operating at an annual revenue run rate of approximately $260 million. The figure is growing exponentially. They've increased fivefold in the revenue from Waymo from early 2024. And I just look at Google Cloud growth trajectory has been awesome. 35% year over year increase in Q3 2024, and then a 28% in Q1 2025, 32% increase in Q2 2025. That's awesome. I was thinking cloud growth was going to be a factor here. It's much more than I thought it was going to be. And now that Waymo is popping out, a company, by the way, that was, and I believe still is, in their other bets category because people weren't paying attention to it, is that's spectacular to me.
Well,
I
I
still
mean, think
think
about
Google's a
it,
good value
Brandon.
here.
Once these go out in every city, and everybody's used to seeing them everywhere, and then you get more and more and more of them. In after they're in every major city in 5 to 6 years, most cars are just going to be autonomous.
Yeah,
Most new cars, and you're just going to have them driving themselves all over town, and then the roads will actually be safer.
right.
And then Waymo's going to be worth way more.
I agree. And it's not something I was accounting for when I actually bought the stock. Not a reason at all in any way.
You and I bought around the same time,
Yeah.
pretty close to it. I was very happy to see in the last 3 to 4 weeks a over $50 a share jump in price. That made my day considering I took that hit on bullish recently, which
Yeah, and I still think it's a good buy
yeah,
right now.
as I as well. All right, into my final thoughts. Going into this week, not much I'm looking at. There's not a whole lot of news. The news came out this past week. Not a whole lot of earnings. It's a good time to reflect. It's a good time to do some deep dive in research. Maybe find some companies you're interested in. Look on the Chinchilla Picking website. You can read an article about how to grade a stock. That's a great tool to use. Use it. Go down, find some stocks. Figure out which ones you're looking at, why you're looking at it. Maybe send us a DM and we'll try to answer your questions for you. If not, we'll answer it here on the podcast for you. Other than that, it is now fall. Go get your pumpkin spice latte. Go have fun. Or if you're like me, I can't have a pumpkin spice latte because I'm trying to watch my calories. By the way, for those of you who care, I don't know if anybody who listens to this cares. I am down so far this year 70 pounds in weight
Nice.
loss just this year alone. So, watch your diets, go to the gym, lift weights, and yeah, exercise. I just care about people doing well. Weird, isn't it? All right. Thanks for listening. Please hit the subscribe button if you like it. As always, we hope we've been entertaining, educational, and uplifting because we want everyone to make money. Have a good night.
Have a good night.